All right, let's talk about a huge question that businesses all across Canada are grappling with: reconciliation. How do you get involved in a way that's actually meaningful and not just, symbolic? It's a real challenge, but there's a new approach that's blending Indigenous wisdom with some pretty cutting-edge technology to light a path forward. So it really all boils down to this one central question, which is what we're going to explore today. How do we turn reconciliation from a word we all use into something we actually do? It sounds simple, but the answer is anything but. But before we can really get into the solution, we have to understand the problem. So let's take a look at the very specific challenge that the corporate world is facing right now when it comes to reconciliation. Now, we're not just talking about reconciliation in a broad, vague sense. The focus here is on something called economic reconciliation, and that's all about creating real, tangible economic opportunities and partnerships to address historical injustices. The keywords there are tangible and partnerships. That's the goal. And listen, this isn't just a nice idea. It's a formal directive. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission's Call to Action 92 specifically calls on the corporate sector to step up. So there's a clear responsibility here for businesses to not just learn, but to actually build a framework for action. The big question is, how? Okay, so with that challenge laid out, let's pivot to a solution that meets this call head-on. And what's so fascinating here is that it's an Indigenous-led solution that totally embraces technology. And here it is, Canada's Hub for Economic Reconciliation. This is an Indigenous-owned digital platform and is built on this really powerful idea of blending traditional wisdom with modern tech. It's that combination, that fusion, that makes this whole approach so unique and so powerful. And the person behind it all is the perfect example of this blend in action. The founder, Jason Carter, who also goes by Bear Standing Tall, is both a Nihia knowledge keeper and an AI software developer. I mean, that unique mix of expertise really just embodies the entire spirit of the platform. And you can already see the impact. This quote from a corporate user really hits home because it shows the platform doesn't shy away from the hard truths. The key is that it grounds any future action in a deep, unflinching understanding of the past. And that's just fundamental if you want to do reconciliation authentically. Okay, so we've got the why and we've got the who. Now let's dig into the what. Let's get into the digital toolkit itself and see how this all actually works in practice. At its heart, the platform offers a clear pathway for learning. You might start out with the AI Copilot to get customized guidance, then you can do a deep dive with specialized ebooks and toolkits, and from there you can even formalize that knowledge with e-learning courses and certificates. It's all available through flexible memberships for either individuals or entire companies. And the content is so specific and so relevant. I mean, we're not talking about some high-level, fluffy overview here. The platform offers deep dives into absolutely critical topics that businesses need to get their heads around, from the national crisis of MMIWG to the really complex issue of false Indigenous identity in the workplace. And if you really want to get a sense of the depth of these resources, just look at this number, 40. That is the number of specialized ebooks just for one sector, financial institutions. This isn't generic advice, folks. This is a deep, tailored, industry-specific library built for real, meaningful change. And this is where that technology piece really shines. The AI Copilot, it's not just a fancy search bar. It actually acts as your guide. It provides customized analysis and recommendations to help a company navigate that library of, say, 40 ebooks to find exactly what they need to accelerate their specific journey. So, and this is crucial, this is not a one-size-fits-all product. Not at all. The whole platform is designed to meet different users exactly where they are on their journey. Let's see how that breaks down. So you can see how this works, right? A huge corporation can access these comprehensive toolkits and consulting, but an HR professional might just need an individual membership. And you know what? Even a student can get started with free guides and e-learning. The goal here is to create lots of different entry points, which is absolutely key if you want widespread adoption. At the end of the day, all of this education, all of this technology, it's all designed for one ultimate purpose: to move organizations beyond just having good intentions and toward creating real, measurable impact. And this slide right here, this really gets to the heart of the matter. The whole point is to shift from the kinds of symbolic gestures you see on the left to the measurable outcomes you see on the right. It's about moving from a one-off workshop to continuous learning, from just a land acknowledgement to actually building genuine Indigenous partnerships. It's about turning symbolism into a concrete, trackable strategy. So if you're an organization, what's in it for you? Well, the value proposition is pretty clear. You get practical, actionable solutions, not just theory. You get outcomes you can actually measure and track. You get guidance tailored to your specific industry. And, so importantly, you get to support an authentic, certified Indigenous business. And to add this other layer of credibility, the work doesn't exist in a vacuum. All the resources are aligned with PAIR. That's the Partnership Accreditation in Indigenous Relations program. It's basically Canada's premier certification in this space. So that means the work you do using this toolkit aligns with a recognized national standard for excellence. So, let's end with this. This whole explainer has been about one very specific Indigenous-led platform, but it points to a much, much bigger question for all of us, doesn't it? In a world full of complex social challenges, what role should technology, and especially AI, play in helping us understand our past and build a more equitable future? It's a powerful question to think about. Thanks for watching.